Well, good afternoon. This is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon. And well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for all staying with me during the summer whilst I was taking a little vacation there. Thank you, everybody, for the emails of concern. I guess I should have done a video and just said I'm going to take some time off and do some catch-up stuff at the homestead here. But anyways, all said and done, thank you so much. There was a donation from Mark. Thank you so very kindly for that. And well, here we are back in the saddle. And I mean, it is unbelievable how the whole narrative is now falling apart. And you know, it's not just the rallies that are taking place in Canada and in the Netherlands and across Germany and Italy now, and France, of course, has been ongoing for two or 3 years over many issues that are coming to a head in France. It's these little things that are taking place. There is some protests going on at Western University in Canada against the masking rules and regulations and the boosters and so on and so forth, because all of these regulations have now been dropped. There is a judge in Ontario. Now, this is very interesting. I'm going to do a separate video on this and actually read the ruling, because it is just stunning what this judge says. But he has ruled that a young woman in Ontario has the right to refuse being inoculated. So setting precedent is a very big deal. The CDC has come out recently and said that the unvaccinated are no different than the vaccinated. And of course, the Daily Mail ran this story about the CDC again saying that the unvaccinated and the vaccinated both carry an equal amount of viral load. So it's turning out more and more that it's the inoculation is not doing what it said it is doing. And YouTube, they've changed their censorship rules. And we'll just go and take a little look at that and come back and we'll follow up.
This is from MRC Newsbusters. YouTube quietly changes COVID-19 censorship policy on mask, social distancing and vaccines. This is from August 25th, 2022. Follow the science. But what about when the science changes? Apparently Big Check changes the censorship rules in the middle of the game. Google-owned YouTube quietly changed its COVID-19 medical misinformation policy in significant ways within the past 4 months, particularly concerning masking, social distancing and COVID-19 vaccines. Since April, YouTube changed its COVID-19 medical misinformation policy to remove penalties for criticizing government and personal practices around masking, social distancing and COVID-19 vaccines. The original policy has 71 guidelines restricting content, but the updated policy has only 64 guidelines, and while the platform appears to have reduced its speech constraints, the updated policy is still highly detailed and restrictive.
Okay, but the big story of the day is the Democrats, who have surely just shot themselves right squarely in the middle of their foot. They are so desperate and so crazy to try and prevent Trump from running in the 2024 election and to try and turn around what looks like it's going to be a disastrous midterm election for the Democrats. They have come out and said they're blaming Trump that he rolled out the vaccine too early without safety results in, that it wasn't tested fully. And it's like, well, wait a minute. What about all the people who continued to promote this after Trump rolled it out with still little or no safety data on these inoculations? And so they have basically thrown not only Trump, potentially, but themselves and every other politician around the world under the bus, because they all rolled out these inoculations under the Emergency Measures Act. Okay, this wasn't, they knew the tests hadn't been done, and there was a ruling in France by a court that if you died of the vaccine, you did it to yourself. It was your responsibility to read the information that was out there. Anyway, let's just go and read this article, and then we'll come back and I'll do a quick wrap-up. Okie dokie, here we go.
And this little piece from Information Liberation. This is August 24, 2022. Narrative shift. Democrats slam Trump for rushing COVID vaccine without enough safety data. Democrats on Wednesday released a new report attacking Donald Trump for pressuring the FDA to authorize unproven treatments for COVID-19. Unproven treatments, huh? And approved the first COVID-19 vaccines before the election without collecting enough safety data. Well, I wonder why you'd want safety data. I warned last year that Trump's taking credit for the COVID-19 vaccine and boasting about pressuring the FDA to approve it may come back to haunt him. It's now happening. The Democrats and the media are going to blame Trump for the failure of the Trump scene and hang him with his own words. From Politico, Trump White House exerted pressure on FDA for COVID-19 emergency use authorizations, House report finds. The report by the House Democrats examining the pandemic says Trump officials sought vaccine approvals to sway voters before the 2020 election.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what I think is going on is that we have reached a situation, certainly from the information that I am receiving from around the world, that there are far more injuries from the inoculation than have been let loose on the mainstream media, and it is becoming so obvious with the athletes collapsing. I saw an incredible video the other day. What was the woman's name? Lieutenant Colonel Laura Long. She had medical data. Now, the most important thing about medical data is that they track every individual soldier's lifetime in the armed forces. All of their medical history is readily available. They can tell immediately. They can tell immediately when something is astray. And this video was so absolutely damning that it is so obvious that as soon as the inoculation was rolled out, there was all kinds of issues happening to armed forces personnel who were in perfect health with no precursors and were at an age where nothing like this should have been happening, things like strokes and that sort of stuff. Okay, so this information is now getting out into the public, but they're rolling it back. They're scared to death that there's going to be some finger pointing, because all of them continue to promote this risky medical procedure way long after they had information that this was not the right thing to do. Same with the lockdowns, the masking, the social distancing. It was all for naught, and that information is coming out now. The CDC is saying we botched it. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot from all of those businesses that have been crushed because of this. All of these people whose lives have been devastated because of this. Either through isolation or not being able to see their loved ones. This is unconscionable, and it is coming out, ladies and gentlemen. So take heart. Take heart. All of the effort has been worth it. This is coming out, and these people are going to wear it. Trust me. They so exclusively controlled the narrative. There is no escaping who and whom. And in another thing, Rishi Sunak, okay, this is one of the guys who's running for PM in the UK. He just came out and threw the whole cabinet in the UK under the bus by saying that he issued warnings about the negative side of lockdowns, and he was shut down, put down, cut out of the conversation, ignored, and they're calling him crazy and a sore loser because it looks like Liz Truss is going to get the seat. Well, this is just the beginning, my friends. You're going to see all of these people, like Rishi Sunak, who have maybe got tarred with a particular brush, or they've been treated in a particular way, and they're going to start throwing people under the bus when they see that the narrative is falling apart. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, there is some good news. Take heart. In the meantime, this is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe below. And in the meantime, this is Houndog Steve signing off, wishing you a very pleasant afternoon. And we'll talk very shortly. You take care now. See ya. Bye.